Here we are at Perth for the one-day international between Australia and New Zealand. It's baking hot in here today. I really feel for the players who'll have to be out there in the sun all day. You had a look at the pitch a little earlier, Jim. What do you reckon?
Thanks, Richie. This is a great batting surface. It's hard and true, and the ball will come onto the bat just perfectly. It'll also give the fast bowlers and wrist spinners some assistance, as there's plenty of bounce. It might also deteriorate slightly as the match progresses, so getting first use of it would be ideal. If I was captain, I'd bat first out here. Back to you, Richie.
McGrath is the opening bowler for Australia. Those are the first runs for Fleming. That's the first runs of the day for Astle. The batsmen are coming back for a second. There's a mix-up with the batsman. He was struggling there, but somehow he's got away with it. Fleming waiting at the striker's end. Very good over. Only 2 off it in the end. Lee to begin a new over. Stopped by Gillespie. It's high in the air. That's the first boundary for Astle. Lee to Astle. Lee to bowl to Astle. Hit straight to a fielder. 48 overs are left in the innings. McGrath to begin a new over. That's gone high in the air. That's the first boundary for Fleming. McGrath continues. He's worked that into the gap. There's a mix-up with the batsman. 47 overs are left for New Zealand. Played into the gap. Astle waiting at the striker's end. stopped by Gillespie. That's gone high in the air. Lee is not impressed.
Perfectly played. He got right over that ball and played it with a nice straight bat.
Lee continues. He looked as if he was home to me. McGrath to bowl to Fleming. There it goes. That takes him into double figures. Hit straight to a fielder. Play it away with comfort. Batsmen are coming back for two. Fielded on the boundary by Hayden. McGrath is back in the attack. The batsman will have to run these. There's a mix-up with the batsman. Oh, that's a really superb shot. That takes him into double figures. Astle is now facing. Hit straight to a fielder. That's the end of the fifth over.
That was a costly over. You can't afford to concede that many runs off an over at this stage.
Lee to begin a new over. The fielder's not going to reach that one. Looks in good form out there.
He loves the ball in that area. Great shot. 4 runs.
Hit straight to a fielder. Lee at the start of his run-up. Long hop and a smash for 4. Fleming has now moved into the 20s. 44 overs are left in the innings. McGrath to begin a new over. It's high in the air. Astle really takes advantage of anything over pitch.
That was a good shot. He saw it early and got into position quickly.
McGrath is back in the attack. It's straight at Warne. Lee to begin a new over. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. Gillespie reaches it before it crosses the boundary. Lee at the start of his run-up. Lee at the start of his run-up. It'll just beat the fielder to the rope. Astle has now moved into the 20s. Astle is now facing. The fielder will cut that off. The batsmen are after 2. There's a mix-up with the batsman. Lee is back in the attack. The batsman will have to run these. Gillespie doing the fielding. .42 overs are left in the innings.
That was a costly over. You can't afford to concede that many runs off an over at this stage.
McGrath to begin a new over. McGrath continues. It's in the air. That was a superb placement.
Well, it was in the air, but there's no one there. No risk.
Stopped by Lee. McGrath at the start of his run-up. Pushed into the gap. There's a mix-up with the batsman. Lee to begin a new over. Stopped by Warne. He's got that one over the infield and away for 4. He's timing the ball perfectly today.
He picked his spot well there, a glorious boundary.
I think he was easily back in the crease there. That's run away for 4. He watched that onto the bat perfectly.
The square drive is a tremendous shot. That was hit with great power. 4 all the way.
Up and over and 4 runs. He's timing the ball perfectly today.
He'll be pleased with that one. It came sweetly out of the middle of the bat.
That's the end of the 10th over. McGrath to begin a new over. There it goes. Just over-pitched by McGrath.
He played that shot perfect.
A nice shot, but it won't make it to the boundary. McGrath is back in the attack. McGrath continues. stopped by Lee. Here comes the first change in the bowling. Fleming waiting at the striker's end. It's straight at Martyn. A cracking stroke. That was perfectly struck.
There's a perfect example of how to play that shot. He deserved 4 runs for it.
The fielder will cut that off. Bevan reaches it before it crosses the boundary. I think he was easily back in the crease there. It's straight at McGrath. The batsman will have to run these. McGrath at the start of his run-up. The batsman will have to run these. McGrath to bowl to Astle. Played into the gap. McGrath to bowl to Fleming. And that's out. Caught by Warren.
Straight down the fielder's throat. The batsman will be kicking himself.
Fleming is finally out for 46. That was a useful innings by Fleming.
He'll be kicking himself about that dismissal. He really didn't play that ball very well.
Franklin is the new batsman for New Zealand. 37 overs are left in the innings. Gillespie to begin a new over. Gillespie continues. It's in the air. Gillespie is not impressed.
That was beautifully played. He was well over the top of the ball.
The fielder will cut that off. Franklin waiting at the striker's end. That's a lovely way to get off the mark. The batsmen are coming back for a second. Great job done by the fielder in the deep. He looked as if he was home to me. 36 overs are left for New Zealand. McGrath to begin a new over. Stopped by Lee. There's a mix-up with the batsman. Direct hit.
Just throwing away wickets. He was nowhere near making his grab.
Franklin goes for only 3.
Well, it seems like miles back to the pavilion when you've got out cheaply.
Vincent is the next batsman in. Vincent awaits his first ball. Hit straight to a fielder. McGrath continues. Stopped in the covers. McGrath to Vincent. Gillespie to begin a new over. Great shot by Aston. Gillespie is not impressed.
Too short, too wide. Not a great delivery.
It's high in the air. That was a shot straight out of the coaching manual.
Oh, great shot. That was a pleasure to see.
That's racing away to the boundary. Crowd are standing to applaud him. Astle has reached his 50 from 39 balls.
It's been a good knock so far, but he needs to keep concentrating.
Hit straight to a fielder. So there was 12 off that over. McGrath to begin a new over. Those are the first runs for Vincent. Lee reaches it before it crosses the boundary. McGrath to Vincent. Stopped by Lee. Vincent facing. He's worked that into the gap. Astle waiting at the striker's end. Well, that'll be a long chase for the fielder. Just over-pitched by McGrath.
He picked his spot well there, a glorious boundary.
33 overs are left for New Zealand. Gillespie to begin a new over. Stopped by Bevan. That's too full and it's been punished. That's the first boundary for Vincent. Gillespie to bowl to Vincent. Played into the gap. Gillespie to Astor. He's worked that into the gap. McGrath to begin a new over. I think he was easily back in the crease there. There should be some runs here. I think he was easily back in the crease there. McGrath continues. McGrath to bowl to Astor. I think he was easily back in the crease there. McGrath to bowl to Vincent. Stopped by Harvey. 31 overs are left in the innings. Gillespie to begin a new over. Great shot by Astor. That really was excellent timing.
That was a gift for the batsman.
Gillespie is back in the attack. Pushed into the gap. There's a mix-up with the batsman. Stopped by Martyn. The umpire is calling for the third umpire. Two, now 4 and 24. It's beaten the fielder, but it won't go all the way. That's the end of the 20th over. Australia are about to make a change in the bowling. Vincent facing. Short and smash for 4. Vincent moves into double figures with those runs. Lee at the start of his run-up. He's worked that into the gap. Play it away with comfort. Batsmen are coming back for 2. The batsmen are in trouble here. I think he was easily back in the crease there. Astle waiting at the striker's end. That's found the gap in the field. There's a mix-up with the batsman. That's a superb throw.
It might have been a risky run, but the pick-up and throw were sensational.
Vincent has gone for 14. The next batsman is Styrus. That over eased the pressure on the batting team. The new batsman won't face for the time being. It's high in the air. Picked up very early by Astle.
There's a perfect example of how to play that shot. He deserved 4 runs for it.
Safely taken by Lehman.
That was a lazy shot. He didn't get over it at all.
Astle eventually goes for 73. That was a useful innings by Astle.
Well, he's played really well out there. He looked confident and was moving his feet really well.
McMillan is the next man in. Gillespie gets his first wicket. New Zealand 4 down now for 137. Stopped by Bevan. That's the first runs of the day for McMillan. The umpire is calling for the third umpire. So then, that's the end of Styrus.
He's back in the pavilion with a big round 0 to his name.
Cairns is the new batsman for New Zealand. Cairns facing his first ball. .28 overs are left in the innings. Lee to begin a new over. Great shot by McMillan. That's the first boundary for McMillan. The fielder will cut that off. There's a mix-up with the batsman. Cairns is now on strike. That's the first runs of the day for Cairns. pushed into the gap. That's a fantastic strike.
He smashed that a long way. Great to watch for the neutral, but the bowler won't be too happy.
Gillespie at the start of his run-up. Didn't quite get hold of that one properly. McMillan moves into double figures with those runs. It's high in the air. Batsmen are after 2. Gillespie is back in the attack. .26 overs are left for New Zealand. Lee to begin a new over. There it goes. Lehman reaches it before it crosses the boundary. Steered expertly into the gap. It's high in the air. Lee continues. There it goes. McMillan has now moved into the 20s. Gillespie to begin a new over. There it goes. That's the first boundary for Cairns. Gillespie continues. He's worked that into the gap. Collected by Lehman. It's in the air. You certainly saw that one early.
Well, you can't afford to overpitch it. 2 full and dispatched for 4.
McMillan is now facing. Gillespie continues. That's a fantastic strike. The bowler won't like that one little bit.
The fielder just watched it, going.
Lee at the start of his run-up. A nice shot, but it won't make it to the boundary. Lee continues. Macmillan is now facing. Fine piece of fielding. Hit straight to a fielder. Gillespie to begin a new over. A long hop and punish. That was a fantastic back foot shot.
Well, he won't have pleased his skipper with that delivery. He needs to keep it tight.
It's beaten the fielder, but it won't go all the way. Cairns has now moved into the 20s. Comfortably held by Horn.
Well, he just picked the fielder out perfectly with that shot.
Macmillan has gone for 26.
He looked in good form out there. He'll be disappointed that he didn't get a bigger score.
The next batsman in is right-handed Adams. That's straight up in the air. Lee couldn't quite reach it. Adams is now facing. You've beaten all ends up by that one. Lee to begin a new over. There it goes. Lee to Adams. Lee at the start of his run-up. Hit straight at Bevan. Those are the first runs for Adams. Pushed into the gap. Great job done by the fielder in the deep. Cairns waiting at the striker's end. "21 overs are left in the innings. Gillespie to bowl the last of his allotted overs. Gillespie to Adams. Hit straight to a fielder. That might be out. It is.
I think he realised halfway down that he wasn't going to make it.
So then, that's the end of Cairns. In the air and gone.
He got into great position to take that catch.
So then, that's the end of Paris. Vettori takes guard. Will just make it to the boundary. That's the first boundary for Vettori. It's beaten the fielder, but it won't go all the way. That's the end of the 30th over. We're about to see a change in the bowling. He's worked that into the gap. There's a mix-up with the batsman. I think he was easily back in the crease there. Well, the fielder's not going to cut that off. That's the first boundary for Adams. Adams is now facing. There's a mix-up with the batsman. He looked as if he was home to me. Vittori waiting at the striker's end. Over the top and away for four. That takes him into double figures. That's straight up in the air. He watched that onto the bat perfectly.
That's not the right line to bowl to this batsman. He'll punish anything there.
The fielder will cut that off. So there was 15 off that over. We're about to see a change in the bowling. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. Martyn to bowl to Adams. Played into the gap. Vittori waiting at the striker's end. That's found the gap in the field. Martyn to bowl to Adams. Eighteen overs are left for New Zealand. He's worked that into the gap. Hayden just picks that up inside the rope. Adams is now on strike. That's too short. 4 runs. Adams moves into double figures with those runs. The fielder will cut that off. The batsmen are looking for 2. There's a mix-up with the batsman. Four runs. Adams has now moved into the 20s. 12 runs came from that over. Martyn to begin a new over. Tucked off his legs. Martyn at the start of his run-up. Well taken by Gilchrist. Martyn to bowl to Adams. That's straight up in the air. Vittori waiting at the striker's end. Well taken by Gilchrist. Martyn continues. The fielder will cut that off. He looked as if he was home to me. 16 overs are left in the innings. Harvey to begin a new over. Harvey is back in the attack. It's straight at Ponting. That's the end of the 35th over. Martyn to begin a new over. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. That's a superb shot. Vittori has moved into the 20s and is starting to look far more relaxed. Pushed into the gap. Batsmen are coming back for two. Fourteen overs are left in the innings. Harvey to begin a new over. There it goes. Harvey only over-pitched very slightly, but it was punished.
He hit that over the field superbly.
Harvey is back in the attack. That's run away and could well go for four. Give this player width and you'll be punished.
That was a wonderful shot. He looks in great shape out there.
The fielder will cut that off. The batsmen are looking for 2. Great job done by the fielder in the deep. Harvey continues. The fielder will cut that off. The batsmen are looking for 2. There's a mix-up with the batsman. That's beaten the fielder, but it won't go all the way. The sweeper picks up. 12 runs came from that over. Martyn to begin a new over. There it goes. A cracking stroke. Exciting square cut by Vettori.
He loves the ball in that area. Great shot. 4 runs.
I think he was easily back in the crease there. Vettori is now on strike. That's gone high in the air. He smashed that away. Adams won't miss anything bowled 2-4.
The bowler put that right in his favourite area.
Twelve overs are left for New Zealand. Harvey to begin a new over. Stopped by Lehmann. He looked as if he was home to me. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. Adams facing. That's gone high in the air. Adams absolutely smashed that for 6.
The bowler can't believe it, but it is out of the ground. 6 runs.
The fielder will cut that off. Eleven overs are left in the innings. Vettori is now facing. That's 4 runs. He placed that superbly.
He gave the batsman too much room there. 4 runs.
Martyn continues. The batsman will have to run these. Adams is now facing. The fielder will cut that off. He's worked that into the gap. That's the end of the 40th over. Played into the gap. Hayden sprinting along the boundary. Harvey continues. Adams waiting at the striker's end. Well, that's found the gap in the field. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. Vettori facing. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. Martyn to bowl to Vettori. Martyn to bowl to Vettori. It's in the air. He looks very happy out there. His 50 has come up off 40 balls.
He'll enjoy this moment.
Vettori is now facing. It's in the air. Vettori very quickly onto that one.
He picked that ball up beautifully. The bowler will have to be careful not to put the ball in that area again.
8 overs are left in the innings. We're going to see the leg spinner worn. He's worked that into the gap. The batsmen are coming back for a second. He smashed that away. This is a really vital innings by Adams. There's his half century. That's beaten the fielder, but it won't go all the way. Vettori waiting at the striker's end. Four. Placed that superbly.
Well, that was a pretty poor delivery. It just sat up and asked to be smashed.
Seven overs are left in the innings. That could go all the way to the boundary. That was a superb placement.
cracking shot. The secret there was that he got his feet into position early and had plenty of time to play the shot.
That's a big appeal. The umpire says not out. All I can say is that it looked very, very close. Martyn continues. That's too short. 4 runs. He timed that to perfection.
Well, he really latched onto that ball quickly and struck a venomous square drive to the cover boundary.
That's gone high in the air and safe. Nine runs were picked up from that over by Martyn. Adams is now facing. That's edged and out. That must have stung a bit, but he held on to it. Adams eventually goes for 63. That was a useful innings by Adams. Warren to bowl to Tuffy. Well, that could go all the way to the fence. That's the first boundary for Tuffy. The fielder will cut that off. Batsmen are looking for 3. And that's the end of the 45th over. Martyn continues. Beautiful shot. Vettori really takes advantage of anything over pitch.
That was a poor ball and it got the treatment it deserved.
Vettori is now on strike. He didn't quite get hold of that one properly. Tuffy facing. Well played, but the fielder will cut that one off. That is an excellent catch. New Zealand is all out for 326.
Great catch. To use the old saying, catches win matches.
Cairns is the opening bowler for New Zealand, so they need 327 to win from 300 balls. So to sum up then, Australia win by 8 wickets.